Hello friends, in this video lecture we will try to summarize the types of cryptography along with the comparison between them. So to compare the cryptographic types, we have to first revise what it means by cryptography and why it is necessary. Cryptography word derived from the Greek language and it can be classified into crypt plus graphy. Now, the meaning of crypt is nothing but the hidden, and meaning of graphy is nothing but writing. So, hidden writing, many times it is also known as secret writing, is nothing but cryptography. So, why the cryptography is necessary? Because if A is the sender and B is the receiver, and A want to send or transmit only some message to the B, then that message transmission can be attacked by attacker, or it is known as unauthorized user. So such kind of unauthorized users can be multiple in number, and it is very dangerous that if a security message can be hacked by the attacker, and it will be very dangerous if the security message get hacked by the attacker. So the communication between the two authorized party. Why? Because sender is this only, this is the authorized, receiver is B, which is required receiver from A. So I can say authorized receiver, and yes, this particular receiver wants to receive a message from this sender. So this is nothing but what? Authorized sender. So in between the authorized sender and receiver only, when the communication, that means the exchange of the data takes place, then that is the secure way of the communication. But due to the presence of the unauthorized user and attacks means what? They can capture your message, they can listen it, they can observe it, they can modify it. So these are nothing but the types of the attacks done by the unauthorized user. So whenever such kind of thing can happen in the transmission of the communication or the data, then the cryptography plays a very important role, because that will give you the necessary things for the secret writing, so that your data will become more secure. For example, if I want to send hi to B, then the cryptography will try to convert this hi into AB. This is a random example. So though attacker is going to observe the value AB, then also he cannot understand what is the original message. So original message, that is the input, is known as the plain text. So these are very important terms. And the encoded message is nothing but the output after the encryption, and this is known as cipher text. So conversion of plain text into the cipher text is nothing but the process of encryption, and it is required to convert the plain text into the secret writing. So this AB is nothing but the secret writing, and this hi is nothing but the plain text. And so that such kind of secret writing, though it is going to observe by the unauthorized user, then also there are lot of chances that he cannot understand it, or he cannot able to decrypt them to find out the original message. And hence cryptography plays an important role for the purpose of the security of the data. Now such kind of secret writing can be done with the help of two keys. One is known as private key and other is known as public key. And depend on the private and the public key, there are two types of encryptions which are present in the cryptography. And what are they? One is symmetric encryption algorithm, and one is asymmetric encryption algorithm. So it depends on the number of keys used for the communication purpose. We require to encrypt the message as well as we require to decrypt the message. For just I told you the example, A wants to say something to B, then A is going to send hi message, and in the process of the encryption, it will convert into AB. So after getting AB, now B required to decrypt it. Otherwise, it is not possible to B. So this is what? Original message, ciphertext, again the original message. So if B is not able to decrypt it, then how it is possible for B to get the original message? So for that purpose, there are few keys used in the communication. One is known as private key and other is known as public key. So symmetric key encryption is nothing but use of only one key in the process of encryption as well as in the process of decryption. That means sender and receiver will able to use private key, that is only one key, because private key is always one. But not at the same time. Obviously there is only one key, so one user is able to use it at a one time. So first A will use it to encrypt the message and B will use it to decrypt the message. So same key exchange will be there, and such kind of encryption is known as the symmetric encryption. While asymmetric encryption, that means use of public key of receiver to encrypt the message and use of private key to decrypt the message. So here encryption and decryption, this is for encryption purpose and this is for decryption purpose. Different types of keys are used. So the multiple keys are going to use, and such kind of encryption is known as asymmetric encryption. So basics behind the symmetric and asymmetric encryption is depend on the number of and type of key used for the process of the encryption. Now we are required to compare these two types of the cryptography. The first one is symmetric key cryptography and second one is asymmetric key cryptography. So we will try to understand that. So in the symmetric key algorithm, advantages of symmetric key algorithm is simple, faster. Drawbacks are key must exchange in a secure way. Why? Because both sender and receiver are going to use same key. So they cannot use at the same time. So they require to exchange the key. So that exchange of the key must be in a secure way. Otherwise, the unauthorized user, if he knows the key, then he can easily hack the message. So the drawback of the symmetric key algorithm is nothing but the exchange of the key in a secure way should happen. Otherwise, it will be not good. And second, easy for hacker to get a key as it is passed in the unsecure way. If it is not passed in a secure way, then what will happen? Hacker is able to catch it. That means hacker will try to observe that particular key. Key is nothing but what? Some number with the help of which, or algorithm with the help of which you will try to decrypt the message. So once the hacker will understand what kind of algorithm or password you try to set for that particular communication, then he or she is able to easily hack your message and convert it into the plain text. That means it into the original text. So these are nothing but the drawbacks. And what are the advantage? It is simple and faster. Second one is asymmetric key algorithm. Here two keys are used. One is public to encrypt the data. One is private to decrypt the data. These keys are generated together. That means at the same time these two keys are generated. The public key is distributed freely between the sender and receiver. The name itself suggests that this is the public key. So sender, receiver can easily use it. The other name is private key and it is kept hidden. Why? The name itself, it is a secure or the secret key is known as the private key, and public key can get easily shared, so many times it can be also known as the shared key. So the private key is kept hidden. The private key is only used for the decryption and will not be shared between the sender and receiver. So the communication is more secure over here. Why? Because private key exchange will not occur. So though your transmission type or mode is any, then also the private key and public key are at their own positions. So there is no necessary to exchange the private key in the communication with the help of asymmetric key algorithm. So whatever drawbacks we found with the help of symmetric key algorithm, that we can easily overcome using the asymmetric key algorithm. So advantage of asymmetric algorithm is what? The sender and receiver do not require to exchange the private key, so that will be more secure. What are the drawbacks of the asymmetric encryption? Number of keys required to encrypt and decrypt the data are larger. Next, asymmetric encryption use two keys. One to encrypt the data, another to decrypt the data. These keys are generated together. One is named as public and distributed freely, other is named as private and it is kept hidden. Both the sender and receiver has to share their public keys together for encryption and has to use the private keys for the decryption. So decryption will be done only at receiver side. So private key will be in the hand of receiver only. Public key can get exchanged in between the sender as well as receiver. So what we have to exactly understand, the comparison between two types of the cryptography, symmetric key, that means symmetric encryption, and asymmetric key cryptography. So there are some steps which we will use to compare them. The first one is key used for the encryption and decryption. For the symmetric key, same key is used for the encryption and decryption. For the asymmetric key, one key is used for encryption, other is different which is used for the decryption. That means here only private key we are going to use and that will be exchanged in between sender and receiver. Here private as well as public key is used. Now key process, K is equal to KD. K is not equal to KD. Now what it means? That means here both the private and public key are not at a same value. Here only private key will be there. So key for the encryption and decryption will be same. So KE, key for the encryption, KD, key for the decryption, both are same. Here KE used for the encryption, that is what? Public key. KD used for the decryption, that is what? Private key. So obviously these are not same. Then speed of the encryption and decryption. Speed is very fast, as we have already seen in the advantages of the symmetric key. It is faster and simpler. And asymmetric key, it is slower. Why? Because here we require to generate the two different types of keys and hence it requires more time. Size of resulting encrypted text, usually same or less than that of the original clear text size. Now what it mean by clear text? Your input, that is the plain text, is also known as clear text. So after the encryption, you are getting ciphertext. So usually it is same or less than the original clear text. And here using the asymmetric key cryptography, more than the original clear text size. So expansion result you will observe over here. Here it may be equal or less. After that, the key agreement or exchange, a big problem. Why? Because you are going to exchange the private key via transmission. So private key is going to exchange in between sender and receiver via transmission. So it is a big problem because it will enhance the insecurity. And here no problem at all. Why? Because sender has its own public key and receiver has its own private key. So there is no any problem regarding the exchange of the key and hence that will be more secure. So usage, it is mainly used for the encryption and decryption process but cannot be used for the digital signature. This is one of the application coming from the cryptography. And it can be used for encryption, decryption as well as for the digital signature purpose. So the last one, efficiency in usage. Symmetric key cryptography is often used for the long message. Asymmetric key cryptography are more efficient for the short message. Why for the short message? Because after the encryption, it is going to enhance the size which is more than that of the original. So previously if your message is short, then it is okay to enhance that message, and here it will be equal or less than that of your original message. So input can be the long, that will be more beneficial. So in this way we can compare in between the symmetric key cryptography and asymmetric key cryptography. Thank you.